Hello and welcome back to the Grand Teen. Back in March, as you probably remember, I bought this, which is a Mazda MX5. It's essentially been my workhorse and go-to car to drive around in for the last 3 months. Now, naturally, I thought it would be the perfect time to do a video on what it's like living with it and what it's like to drive it on the daily. Now, of course, there are pros and cons to this, which I shall run you through now. But first, let's start with some basic questions. Yes. Yes. So, now that's out of the way, it's time to look at the actual questions. Well, driving every day is quite an obvious one for me because it is so much fun to drive no matter where you go, apart from London, of course, because of congestion charge. But if you are driving to work in this car, then you'll be ready to do lots of business when you get there and even cure cancer. That's how exhilarating it is. However, it is a bit of a bone shaker. It's... Ow. Ow. Oh. It's bloody vicious, and that's definitely a down point with this car, is that the suspension is stiffer than a pedo on a playground. Am I allowed to say that? It's kind of more set up for track use rather than the school run, let's say. That doesn't sound right either, for God's sake. Space. There isn't much. In fact, there's less space in here than there is in a water bottle. But that's no issue for me because I only really need 1 or 2 bags, and that will fit right in here or in the passenger footwell. So I wouldn't really recommend this car if you have a million kids. Having said that though, there is another seat just here, as you can see, and I have done the school run in this and looked very good doing it as well. For the next question, I have come to Waitrose, which is a supermarket. That's right, we are here in Waitrose because we're going to be seeing if this car is easy to park. Now, of course, this is probably one of the smallest cars on the road at the moment today, so it should be an absolute breeze. However, no, I can't go there. There's lots of SUVs. No, that's disabled. I'm not disabled. Look how many SUVs there are. And the Range Rover that's not in the space. Typical. Eventually, I found a space. Aha! Here we go. Visibility-wise, it's alright actually, because I've got the hardtop on it, so it is a bit easier to see what I'm doing. And that was pretty easy actually, I'd say. The question is it going to be easy to get things in the boot? We shall see. In Waitrose, there are many things that a youth like me doesn't understand. I don't understand who actually buys like Waitrose cutlery. You've either got to be a footballer's wife or mental. Biscuits, I've got loads of those. Why would you name something that's called Naked? I mean, I don't run around the house like that, but really? You know it's middle class when you have to buy water pre-packed. Having walked around for a few hours, I finally got my weekly shop done. Now there has been a slight problem, and that is because our show doesn't have a budget of any kind, that I have had to resort to my own money. And that means I can only afford, well, this. Some butter, some sugar, and some milk. But will it fit in the boot? That's the question. Let's find out. No, it doesn't go there. Never mind. So we're at the petrol station now to find out. Now this car has quite a small fuel tank, so I don't have to fill her up that often. About £50 that is. So, say if you topped up every week in the month, that is £300 a month. Having filled up the car and establishing that I can't multiply 50 by 4, it was time for the next question. There are a few things with this car that are really annoying. One of them being, on the motorway it is quite noisy in here, especially with the roof up, even with the soft top and the hard top on. Hard top isn't as noisy. The other thing is that the steering wheel isn't exactly very straight when driving, just needs to be readjusted. The brakes do rub a little bit as well, which also needs to be sorted out, but it's just these things, like I mentioned in the review, that I can quite happily live with, because it isn't exactly a brand new car. So that is the living with my MX5 video. We hope that it was helpful in your mission to buy one of these cars. And if it was, then make sure you give it a thumbs up and subscribe to us on YouTube and follow us on social medias. Till next time, see you later. But that's no issue for me, because all I really need, that's stupid, and some sugar. But will it fit in the boot? Off. Oh, for God's sake, another bloody train. Idiots. Why is there so many people going on a train in COVID? It's just f***ing annoying.
What have you done?
Put a hole in the f***ing... So annoying. Mate, the things we do on the Grand T. I bought milk and I can't drink it now.
Oh no.
Cocking Nora.
How the f*** do you manage that? That's brilliant. Oh no.
Bollocks.